Hello everyone, welcome back to the Enlightened Life series we're kind of shooting here. Let me get the camera up a little bit more of an angle, adjusted since last time. Okay, here we are everybody. Today I'm talking about how to cure your anxiety with the practice of removing guilt. I previously talked about removing depression, removing other problems by getting rid of guilt, but guilt is such a huge problem these days, and I really wanted to address it and really get to the source of it, particularly with anxiety, something that I had a lot more problems with when I was a little bit younger, but a technique like this really helped me out. I think it can help you guys out too. It's not a solution for like having no medication, no kind of therapy, because you definitely need those things if you have extreme anxiety, GAD, whatever your anxiety conditions are, okay? But you can cure a lot of basic anxiety that you have with this kind of technique. Now, a big problem we have these days, this rampant epidemic, really stems back to anxiety. People are feeling anxious about the future. Oh, I'm scared I'm not going to have like a good job, or I'm going to go to a good college. I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that. People have this anxiety that's just under the surface that constantly stems from thinking I'm not able to do something, I'm not good enough, I'm not powerful enough, I won't be able to deal with this situation. All that kind of stuff keeps happening over and over and over and over and over again. And a big cause of that is just guilt. Guilt is this emotion that we're really taught at a young age. It's an artificial construct. Unlike most of our emotions that really come from a genuine background that makes a lot of sense, guilt really does not. Guilt really has this basis out of societies where elders will tell the children, oh, you didn't do this thing well enough. Now let's not blame anybody here. Blame never solved anything. But guilt is a worthless emotion. It just makes us feel bad all the time, okay? Now you think guilt might be useful. Oh, like, you know, if I feel guilty about something, maybe I won't do it next time, or something along those kind of lines. But that's not at all the case, okay? When you feel guilty, it just makes your entire life feel bad, okay? It just spreads and spreads and spreads like a massive infection. Because guilt is this kind of emotion that can eat away and destroy so many good things in your life. Because when you feel bad, you start to feel like you don't have a very good future, that your things are very uncertain. I gotta be tense all the time, I gotta be anxious. And that is really the source of your anxiety in many cases. Now that's just from my own personal experience, my opinion on that, some of what I've read on, worked in, on that kind of material. Now, there are a lot of other bases in anxiety. You can contribute part of it to genetics, a lot of it to the environment, many other unknown causes there. But a lot of it, I think, really stems back to guilt. And this epidemic just really spreads because of guilt. People who continue to feel guilty at an older age. And there's so many things we feel guilty about. And I used to have this feeling of Sunday, I call it. This feeling that every Sunday I'd get like, oh, I should have done my homework on Friday. I should have done this kind of work Friday. I like have a paper due, or I need to work on this other thing. This feeling, I should have already done this. But that's ridiculous, okay? Because the past is the past. And unless you can go back in time, like unless you have a time machine, because if you do, let me know about that, okay? But if you don't have a time machine, then you can't go back in time and change the past. And if you can't alter the past, why should you feel bad about it? Guilt doesn't help you do better in the future. It only makes you feel bad about the past. You feel unworthy because you screwed this thing up. You didn't do this thing perfectly. But really, that's not at all true, because you live the past life. Who you were in the past has made you who you are today, regardless of what you've done. And your future is not made out of just feeling bad about the past. When you do that, you set yourself up for a bad future. If you feel, even though I've screwed up, or even though I've done some mistakes, I feel good about who I am, I feel worthy of achieving a good future, then you're going to go into things feeling confident, feeling happy. And that kind of personality is really infectious. It really can do some good. But if you go into things feeling guilty, then you can't do very much good at all. And that's really, a lot of people just have this guilt that later leads to their anxiety. But you can get rid of guilt with just a single thought. It is only a single thought away. And the way to get rid of guilt really just stems back to this technique I learned from Dr. Wayne Dyer, but there are many other teachers of this kind of technique of how to get rid of guilt. And I'd say the best technique is understanding that it's the past. Once you understand it is the past, and it doesn't help you, if you can accept that guilt is not useful, and it's part of the past, then you can let it go, because if you can't change what you've done, then what's the point in feeling bad about it? If you can really understand that, if you can think of, I'm not going to feel bad about the Peloponnesian War, this war that happened 2,000 years ago, then why should I feel bad about something I did 5 minutes ago? No reason. There's no reason you should feel bad about anything that you have done in the past, because that's not going to help you build a better future. Now, if you think of criminality, people have this idea of, oh, justice should be served. We should have this system of justice. We should, whatever, kind of ideas. If you just work with prisoners in terms of punishment, 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 when they come out of prison, they're not better citizens, okay? They're just better criminals. They've just been in a cage with a lot of criminals, and now they're just better at crime. What you need is a re-education here, like with this idea of re-education via guilt, okay? We need to not spread guilt onto future generations, do this kind of thing in such a massive amount. If we can get rid of our guilt, if we can remove this kind of feeling, that will not make us bad people. It will just make us less anxious and less depressed. If we can remove our sense of guilt, like I feel bad about this, I feel bad about that, whatever it is, whatever you feel bad about, that will not help you do better in the future. There's an idea in basic psychology of neuroplasticity, that our minds become better attuned to the thoughts we're thinking. So if we think certain thoughts, we strengthen certain neural pathways and become better at that kind of thing. The more we do that with guilt, we're just setting ourselves up for more future experiences for us to feel bad about. We should no longer feel bad, okay? What has happened, and while there are things we don't necessarily like, if we get rid of our guilt, we're still good people. We still live good lives. We don't do evil things because we have no guilt. We just become less anxious and much happier. So let's get rid of our anxiety together. Let's become better people. Let's get rid of guilt. That's about it for this video. I will see you guys next time with the next video. So thanks everybody for watching. I will see you guys then.